you have an appointment with a farmer, you have to reflect the culture in every way you can. You just try to make sure synergize with the dress ethics, and represent naturalness. I mean, close to nature. So that's why today, as I prepare to meet with a farmer, I just decided to give myself a touch of the traditional Ankara. Make sure while we're at the studio, you don't get carried away by this my gili. The Yorubas call it malomo. You go nowhere. Okay, let's go there. Nice viewing and nice listening. All right, bye. Can we have you real? Wow.
Yeah, good evening.
Sean to the farmer.
Good evening. I was having some network issues, but I've resolved it, so
okay,
I'm on now.
Perfect. Which club do you play for?
Hello?
Which club are you a fan of? And which club do you play for? From your
club? No. Well, I don't play football, but my club is Chelsea.
Okay.
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Let's not deviate, so don't go there. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Perry.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, Mr. Perry Nelson, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Your name just sounds like you are the mayor of one country in one developed world.
Well, I'm from Akwa Ibom, but my mom is Ghanaian, so.
I see. Perfect. Maybe towards the end we'll see a bit of both languages that we can speak. So I know which of the divides. Oh yes. Okay.
Okay.
In fact, I decided today that for you, I was going to fish out some African thing and look like a farmer, somebody chatting with a farmer, and there you are a technologically driven farmer. Well, you want some time for yourself? Are you okay?
Sorry, I'm trying to put on my earpiece. Okay.
I noticed you.
Alright, so I can tell you better.
Okay, so I'm just saying that in the course of our discussion, when the time permits us, we'll be able to talk about the languages you speak. Perhaps that can help. Yes, and then if I make any mistakes trying to be adventurous in speaking them, you make sure you don't laugh. If you laugh, it will cost you some of your farm produce. Okay. Okay. Compliments of this wonderful new week, and
thank you.
Good evening. Glad to have an opportunity to speak with a man after a long time. We've spoken with.
You've been having mostly women.
Yes, women are resilient. They don't want to give up. So when I have a man like that, it's quite an opportunity for me to, also tap from the wealth of the knowledge that the men bring to bear. It's a wonderful opportunity to have to speak with a farmer. I had a discussion with an engineer. I had a discussion with someone who was also into horticultural special plants, the national plants and all that. I had that discussion with that gentleman and was very wowed by his presentation. Okay. Now for you farmer. That term, farmer, it is indeed elaborate. I can say I have several heads. I love farming. I sell farming produce. I'm married to a man who also does farming and who has encouraged me to go into a bit of farming, but maybe not in the capacity that you have brought farming to be. Now, let me first, because this is your project, this is your time, Let me just briefly just talk about myself. My name is Veronica, so that I will get to meet ourselves. My name is Veronica Oshokoya. A lot of people call me Veronica Oshokola. Some people call me Veronica Oshokoya. But I just try to correct people appropriately because there's so much to a name, and there's so much to defining what you do. We'll talk about that also in the course of this discussion with you. Oshokoya. In as much as I'm not Yoruba by birth, Oshokoya means quite a lot for those who understand Yoruba. And that's why every time you see me, I'm either putting this, I'm putting that, I'm doing that. And these are what Yorubas call a show and then Osho, you know what I mean. Now, I have been a publicist, an entrepreneur, but most importantly, an advertiser and a marketer. Okay? So with all this, I've been into protocols. I've worked with government as a protocol officer and all that. I've worked in government as a sales and marketing director of a federal institution. I've also worked in advertising and as somebody in the media, in developing concepts and all that. I've worked as a salesperson, I've worked as a public relations person. So all about me is about enhancing. And so that's why when the opportunity came for me to anchor this program, I was indeed excited because it gives me an interesting opportunity since post-retirement to say to myself, it gives me an opportunity to still have interpersonal relationship with people and meeting with people, expanding the wealth of knowledge. Because the people are your wealth. For instance, you are an adopt to where I am. So this is who I am. But because we're talking about you, and because I've been everywhere, papers have interviewed me and all that, so people know me, but not enough as I would want to. So in knowing me, they will know you. Because wherever everybody types my name, this interview would come up. Once it comes up, it also presents the opportunity to meet with you. It says Veronica Oshokoya and Perry Nelson. Veronica Oshokoya and Fruitful Acre Farm. So tell us, Perry Nelson, Fruitful Acre Farms, who are you?
Okay, well, I'm Perry Nelson from Akwa Ibom State, married with 3 children. About 22 years in marriage now. I'm a trained engineer, and I was in Lagos for a while, for about 16 years. Just came back home for the past 5 years and went straight into farming. I've been engaged in the civil building industry in Lagos for quite a while, but I never had that fulfillment, that satisfaction of what I really wanted to do, which was watch things grow, watch animals grow, live. By the way, I live on the farm.
I can hear them saying to us, we're here. Oh, so I even like the fact that we can hear them. It endorses who you are. So, and I see that you're trying to calm them down. Don't calm them. Let them just, if you see them jumping on top of you, let us see it.
So yes, and we are all into it because I've come to realize that farming is something that if you don't get the whole immediate family involved, you hardly get to succeed. Because sometimes things happen, you're away from the house, your wife is around, your kids are around. They should be able to manage what they see on ground, not solely dependent on the workers that work on the farm. I'm into integrated farming. I do crops, banana, plantain, pineapple, cucumber, and I do animals also, pig, fish, poultry, rabbits recently, snail for household consumption. And I would say with all boldness that I've been back home for the past 5 years, and economically, with what happened during the COVID, I got to realize that if you don't grow things or you don't have a source where your food comes from, you'll be stuck halfway. Because during the COVID, we had people that had physical cash but could not buy. You know, we on the farm were more or less not affected by the lockdown. Why do I say that? We are already locked down. We live in lockdown life on
You were
the
locked
farm.
in. You were locked in. You were
Yes.
not locked down.
So when the government was like lockdown, no movement, it didn't really affect us. You know, I had cases of my wife dropping groceries, dropping food for people at our gates. You know, because people had the physical cash but just couldn't interact on a wider scale. So I would say farming has been so fulfilling that boldly saying what I did not achieve for over 16 years of my stay in Lagos as an adult married life, in 5 years back home and in farming, I've achieved more. You know, people always look at the physical cash. Okay, you say you've achieved more. Do you have millions in your account? No. You know, but if I tell you boldly, we hardly buy food. We hardly lack food. You know, notwithstanding the fact that we sell to people. Your immediate family, your immediate community is already looking up to you to provide certain things, and you meet up. You know, I've so affected my larger scale friends that I have friends that now plant pepper and tomatoes on their balcony in their estates instead of planting flowers. You know, through my influence and through my telling them, look, it is possible. Believe you me, I've never seen cucumber grow physically until I came back home into farming. I used to think all the cucumber we see was brought from the north. When I saw cucumber grow in 45 days and I practiced it, I was shocked. You know, I was shocked. I have palm trees around my compound, not on a large scale. They are just about 10 or 9. I have around my compound. And if I tell you that between 2018, which I planted them, and now I've harvested, I've made palm oil from them, I've cooked from them. You know, this is something that when you tell people, it's hard to believe, because you think of palm trees as in, oh, it's going to take 10, 15 years to grow and harvest. You know, and in 3 years, I was harvesting palm trees. You know, I started with a pig in 2018, a pregnant pig. Presently, I've sold, I can't even mention how many I've sold. I've sold close to 100 in my lifespan of having pigs. Just starting with one in 2018. You know, presently I have about maybe over 30 on the farm. So I would say farming is a win-win situation. You know, but the only way I found out you can succeed in farming is being physically involved, even if you invest. You know, because some people will ask me, okay, so it doesn't mean I cannot invest in you, I cannot invest in farming. No, you can, but always make your presence felt. Don't just invest and look the other way. After all, we put our monies in banks and we go almost every week to make sure our monies are intact. You know, so the mistake people make is, oh, they have 3 million naira, they want to invest in farming and they just put it down and look the other way. You know, farmers are not God. It could go right, it could go wrong.
Okay.
Because sometimes people say, okay.
Let me halt you there. This is a very interesting conversation. This is a laudable project, and without having seen the produce, I'd like to say to you, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to say to you that Africa, indeed the world, should be proud of people like you. I definitely would know there must have been discouragement, but let me just recap a bit of what has made me interested in what you have said.
Okay.
The fact, most importantly, that you got your family involved, and then you made a statement to say you cannot, no one should rely. Let me just summarize it to mean,
okay,
the dependence shouldn't be on you alone. It shouldn't also be on the workers alone. It should be an all hands on deck thing where everybody has a knowledge of what is happening.
What is happening?
Peradventure, there could be an instance where there is a need to be attended to, and the person around is maybe member of the family, and the person should be able to know what to do. For that, I like to, because I'm actually running a project. I'm doing a research work right now, and the research work I'm concentrating on family businesses. And the area that I'm focusing on that research work is on succession intentions. Okay? And if you're talking about family businesses and succession intentions, you can't do family business without involving the people you have listed. So I like to say to you, in line with international standard practice, you're just doing the right thing. So keep it up. Keep it up. So
thank you.
And this is an area, integrated farming is wonderful. You're not doing one. You're taking a bit of all these areas that you know that you have sufficient time to nurture. Yes, that is another thing that I got interested in. And I got interested in the fact that in 45 days, cucumber can be planted and harvested. That is strange. Just like you didn't know cucumber. I thought cucumber could be plucked from a tree. I thought they were like pawpaws,
Yes.
They look like pawpaw in the sense, the way they are caged in that. But when I started reading up and I found that, and there are also species. There are the bitter ones, there are the sweet ones. I just pray, from the way I'm looking at this discussion with you, you will not just end up with one slot. You may need to, because the world is looking for you.
Thank you.
Nigeria is looking for you. So, and then talked about palm trees.
Yes.
And I know that where I come from, there is a place called Adapam. In Imo State. And in Adapam, we used to see like plantations of palms. Did you understand? And I never knew that it's something that could happen in 3 years. I never knew that you could harvest palm. And then I got interested in the area of you could make palm oil, and then you could also use, you were able to get the nuts across. Because, let me be a local woman that I am by nature, and the local woman that I am by my dressing tonight, to say to you, there is something we call eketeke. Eketeke means, when you pound the nuts and you squeeze it. If you cook food for me with ordinary palm oil and you cook food for me with that, hey, I will lick my hand and lick the plate, and if possible, if the plate is chewable, and then I will chew the plate with it. So that is interesting. So so this is you're an engineer, which is also engineering, and then from the way you spoke, you're a civil builder. You're a civil engineer. So if you're a civil engineer and then you're now venturing into integrated farming, I say, wow. So ladies and gentlemen, all the listeners, everyone who would come by this presentation, I submit to you that Fruitful Acres Farms, Nelson Essien, Perry Essien Nelson, is here with us, and as much as possible, let me crave your indulgence, listen and share perhaps what he has taught his friends to do, to plant tomatoes, to plant peppers as greens, to add aesthetic value. While adding aesthetic value, the greens would also provide a fresh natural plucked of little vegetables to spice up what you're cooking. So we're indeed privileged to have this man. But then let me ask you, outside of what else you want to talk about your business, can you tell us more about your business? Areas that you think should be of interest to everyone. Areas that you think you need publicity for. Areas that you think you need the world to hear. Okay? Now, when you do that, you would also explain to us. Yes, you said something that people can come and drop off some millions and say they want to invest in your business, right? But you try to discourage them for just dropping the money and going. Just like you put your money in the bank, you want to know if there are some deductions, you need to go there and find out why the deductions has happened. You need to call. So, and plants are very jealous, from what my mother said to me. Plants are like humans. If you don't give them attention, they need attention. If you don't give them attention, they won't yield. So you are going to also talk more about that if time permits. If time does not permit us, we're probably going to say to be continued, because I mean farming. So farming is not something you talk about. Yes, it's not. It's not. So you need to talk about the level of your farming. Are you mechanized? Are you not mechanized? How? What level? Yes, have you gone in this few, having done 15 years outside of farming, and then you've come back to do farming for this short between 5 to 6 years in Akwa Ibom? What have you achieved? Then we're going to talk about what government policies have done for you. We want to talk about what government restrictions or support that has affected you. Have you positively embraced government? Has government entities embraced you? Has the Akwa Ibom state government done anything to identify that you are in existence? So, outside of these plans, you would need to probably tell us your future plans, what you intend to do to expand the scope of your business, to expand the horizon of your business. And then, how much of publicity have you done? How much of publicity? So, I'll leave you, because the way this time runs, sometimes it gets very annoying, especially when you have an interesting discussion. So I'll leave you to talk about these areas and any more that you know indeed you need attention for. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I'll start by saying it's not been all rosy, because the way I put it, it sounds, everything works out perfect, lined out. Initially, I failed. I had people that put money in me, and because I probably didn't know the ropes very well of what I was going to do, I failed. For the first 2 years, I could say I failed. It was trial and error. A cousin actually lost some money she put on me, which I had to take a while to pay back, because she gave me time to do that. And why do I say this? I came into farming with a wrong approach. I say wrong in the sense that I just came in with my everyday farming knowledge. But the world has changed. Farming techniques have evolved. What we knew back as kids is no more what obtains today. And what happened when I noticed that happened, I now went back to train myself. I took courses online. I went for webinars. I spent money in programs, all to do with farming. When it comes to chicken, I took courses with Ledno. I took courses with some other agricultural farms, But the sad part I noticed was I was getting more cooperation from farms that were based outside Nigeria. Most of the ones within Nigeria saw me as competition, so they hardly ever wanted to divulge information. Most of the ideas I got about pig farming came from a farming group I belong to in Zambia. They taught me all the ropes online. Some were free. In short, I would say most of it was free. Because we had this group where you had issues, you bring your issues live, you put pictures of your pigs, and under 2-3 minutes, people are giving you solutions. Whereas our Nigerian counterparts were more like, DM me, slide into my DM. It will cost you this. Buy this ebook. But you can't make me buy ebooks for things I don't really understand if you don't make me understand them. Most of the time, most of my first products were actually given out free because people hardly knew me. Most people did not like pork, the way pork was prepared. So I had to give out samples. Catfish, you would know, it took a long time before catfish was accepted on Nigerian tables because people saw it as a chemical fish. So I have to make customers understand I don't use boosters, I don't use growth enhancers, I don't use all those kind of things. So I have to give out free samples. I have to roast them, smoke them, and send out free samples to people that now said, wow, this thing came out just like the local fish we eat. I said, good, that's what I've been trying to tell you guys. As I speak to you, I'm still growing, but most of my market is gotten from people that I enlighten, people that have traveled. Sometimes people come into the country, they want to travel back, they hear about me. Oh, please, can I have 15 kg of smoked fish? Can I have this? I have not reached the level where I can export because I have not met up with NAFDAC standards yet. And it's something Smidan is trying to help me get to that stage. I've been involved with Smidan in our state with some trainings. Then also the state has, I would say where I've benefited from the government, from the Akwa Ibom state government, was I was a part of the first batch of an entrepreneurship program. It's called My Entrepreneurship Goal Program. I was among the first batch. We were trained free of charge, soft skills, business proposals, everything in one pack. If I was to pay for that pack in Lagos, I'll be paying nothing less than 250,000. But our government gave it to us free. I benefited from that. And that really changed my perspective of farming as a hobby. In the case that my business was not registered then, I had to register it. I didn't know about NAFDAC. NAFDAC was a no-go area. People gave us the impression that you have to have millions before you can get registered with NAFDAC. And I got close to Smidan and found out NAFDAC was just do what we say you should do, and you get the approval. So many things that as a farmer I was scared of got exposed to me.
Okay,
I got to realize.
I'll hold you again because
yes,
I'll hold you again with your kind permission. I like the
yes.
fact that you talked about learning the ropes.
Yes.
In most Nigerian businesses, people learn the tricks. And once you learn the tricks without learning the ropes, you've missed it. Okay?
The tricks will fail.
Yes, I'm happy that we still have people like you who know that the right thing to do is to learn the ropes. And I like the fact that, because I was going to ask you questions about fertilizers, and I was going to ask you questions about trainings, but you've been able to talk about them, but not as deeply as I would have loved for you to. But
can I just come in on that?
Yes,
sorry,
please.
Briefly. Okay. Firstly, I wouldn't say 100% organic, because to achieve 100% organic is almost a no-go area for now in Nigeria. But I don't use fertilizers. Okay. I told you about the farm. We use the pig waste to manure our plantain. We use the effluents from the fish pond for our vegetable gardens and pineapple. All those are natural fertilizers that we use. So we don't use the formulated ones, I would say. We don't use boost enhancers on our broilers. We do everything the natural way, using efirin, using alligator pepper, using black pepper, bitter cola, and things like that. I've learned all those ropes. We formulate them, and they become boosters to our chicken and animals. On training, I've trained first through PIND. I don't know if you've heard of PIND, Partnership Initiative in the Niger Delta. I trained over 50 youths in my immediate community, free of charge through PIND for 6 months. Out of those 50 youths, I would say about 15 are presently in a cluster with me. We came into a fishing cluster so that we could have a bigger market, and we're existing. It's called, if you check our Instagram, you'll see a Green Farm Clusters. That's actually our cluster, of farmers that I trained that decided to stay in the business. So we've trained, we mentor. We also give free visits. People come to the farm, I want to learn snail, I want to do this, and we just give them 1-2 days without charging, because we want to encourage. Because I'll tell you something about farming. Farming should not be a competition. It should be a collaboration. Because the more farmers you have, the bigger your market. I'll give you an instance. A lady calls from Owerri, and she wants, for instance, 1,000 kg of fish. I cannot produce that. I probably have maybe 150 kg. So she boycotts me with the good price she's offering. But when I have 10 other farmers that have 100 kg each and are willing to sell, we come together, and the lady from Owerri comes with a pickup, picks up her stuff at a very good price. The more product you have, the more you can determine your price. When you don't have enough products, the buyer determines for you, because they see you as hungry. You are in need of the money. Wow. But when you have when you have about 100 bunches of plantain to sell, my sister, you'll be the one telling them, look, if it's not 2.5, I will not sell. But when you have 3 bunches, the person stops in the Jeep in front of your house and says, my brother, if you cannot sell 800, I will not buy. So you see the difference now.
Yes, I can see the difference. We have 8 minutes to go.
Okay.
Yes, and this is sad. We probably need to ask Baba God to help us slow down. How time flies when you have this segment has been a very wonderful segment, and then the encounters I've had have been wonderful. I am interested in encouraging you, and the interest of this organization is to encourage people like you to help you speak about yourself and let people know about you. Now, you talked about exports, and then you talked about Smedan.
Yes.
And I'm happy that you're making efforts, because the demand for the kind of thing. Yes, Nigeria is a big market. I don't know if you're on the platforms that this organization has enlisted well over 400 and something various entrepreneurs, and they quickly talk about what they have, and they have opportunity to advertise what they have. That is a platform. But now let's talk about you and Smedan, and I'd like to encourage you, as tall as it is, touch it. There's a moon that you must touch. As much as it is, try to touch it. And I'm happy that you don't use growth enhancers for especially chicken and fish. Chicken and fish, because a lot of people have come to realize that most of the causes of terminal illnesses and are from some of those products. So and the taste of Akwa Ibom fish. I have a friend, probably if she's going home to Nigeria soon, and if I have to speak with her before she goes, I'll probably tell her to pick up some fish for some of my friends who don't live in Nigeria, because the taste of the fish from Akwa Ibom, when you use the fish that you get elsewhere that has used boosters and enhancers, you put it in your pot, you need to start looking for spices to make sure that you get it to the taste you want. But when you cook with these ones, it's like you remember your grandmother. Yes, sure, you remember your grandmother. The taste of the food is different. So, but then, I know that if you do not invest in fertilizers for certain produce, it might be difficult for you to I don't know how. Yes, you have
On a large scale.
yes, large scale, And recall, I'd asked you, do you have equipment that you use to run your farm? You need to talk about what do you have, because now I'm trying to take a bit because we have 5 minutes to go.
Okay.
So
okay. When it comes to equipment, I would say I'm still in the scale up. I did a program recently with Y Combinator, which they made us understand the level of your company. Are you a startup? Are you a scaled up? And things like that. So I'll say when it comes to equipment, I've not really mechanized yet. For the fish, I use tarpaulin ponds. I have about 20 of them. For the pigs, I use the normal pens built with concrete. Maybe next time I'll be able to show some pictures built with concrete. But piggery has gone beyond that. Piggery now, they are using farrowing crates. They are using the IMO system. They are using crates on the ground, and things like that. It has gone beyond just building a concrete pen. So when it comes to equipment, I'll say the moment I have like-mind backups to invest, then I could say I could move to the next level. For now, I would still, people say I've grown, but I would still see myself as a subsistence farmer.
Okay, quickly tell us about investing in you. What is it? Have you thought about categorizing it? Have you thought about maybe phases or how much investment is?
Okay.
What is the minimal investment somebody can put into your business?
Okay. I currently run an investment program which I started with my old schoolmates because they are the first set of people to trust you.
Yes.
And we go for as little as 100,000, 1 million, and over. We have slots, where maybe if you buy a slot of 100,000, just as an example, and I'll tell you, okay, for this slot of 100,000, you get a return of investment of 18 to 25% in 6 months or a year.
Okay, and then
so I've been doing programs like that.
Okay, monitoring issues.
Contract.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, it's your time because we have 2 minutes.
Yes. Okay, so you sign a contract. I tell you, you are not really concerned whether I'm going into fish or chicken or pigs or whatever. All you know is on that investment, you get this return on investment at this month paid into your account. If you want to roll over, you roll over. Or most people that have started with me on this small scale would rather just take the interest and keep their money running. I've had people that do that.
Okay, so outside of this call for investors or call for partners, have you been able to access funds? How do you access funds to also enhance what you do?
Yes, I've had opportunities of accessing funds from my bank. But if it's not an agricultural loan, a single digit, it doesn't work for the farmer.
Yes.
So I've talked to Bank of Industry, I've talked to Bank of Agriculture, but sorry to say, most of these things are on paper. Most of these policies are on paper. When it comes to really accessing them, you now find bottlenecks.
Oh yes,
because the moment you're giving,
because we actually have 1 minute to go.
Okay.
I'd like to ask that you consider the possibility of showing a bit of your adverts, even if it means an audio a video clip of some of the things you do when this is going to be presented, because it makes it more interesting and more realistic. Then you probably need to tell us about your social media handle, because we have less than 1 minute quickly, how to contact you. But you must ask for another slot. This is not enough for you. You are oh my word. So please.
I definitely will. On social media, on Instagram, we are Green Farm Clusters. Green Farmers Clusters on Instagram. On Facebook, it's simply Perry A.C. Nelson, which I have a page, Fruitful Acres Farms. On LinkedIn, I'm also Perry A.C. Nelson. And I think those are the social media handles I use for now.
Okay, telephone.
090-3287-0857. Again, 090-3287-0857.
Why struggle when you can thrive in a high traffic environment? Looking for new customers? Let them find you. Why be obscure when you can be seen by new customers daily? Working alone? With a digital copy of you, your business can work 24 hours a day, even while you sleep. Unemployed? You can create your own income opportunities. VECHI is the one-stop site where you can operate independently and commission-free. Why waste time? Keep track of all transactions and product trends. You could limit yourself to one stream of income, but why? When you can have multiple streams of income. Don't miss out on 6 months free with your subscription. VECHI, where we bridge the gap between buyers and sellers.